everyone, my name is Clay, and welcome to another episode of Terminally Nerdy, and today we're going to be looking at a few games featured on the recent Spring Festival that was organized by Geoff Keighley on Steam as a replacement for the various cancelled conventions, such as E3, Game Developers Conference, and so on. There were about 40-ish games featured with available demos. I went through that list and chose the ones that interested me the most, and decided to record a little bit of gameplay as well as my thoughts on each one. Now, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel for more indie games coverage, and if you like what I'm doing here, please share this video with your friends as well. It'll help get those games noticed. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? What happens when you take the Dark Souls formula and put it into a pixel art style and isometric view? You get Eldest Souls. Now, I am very bad at these sort of games, so I personally didn't enjoy the demo. However, I can see a lot of love was put into this game, and if you enjoy the Dark Souls series, but want something that looks more visually appealing, has an interesting world to it, and some solid boss designs, you might want to keep an eye on this game. Personally, I'll be skipping this game because, well, I'm a filthy casual, and this is not for me at all. Also, I think there's only boss fights in this game. I only ever encountered 2 bosses and no normal enemies whatsoever. It was kind of weird. Garden Story here makes me think of a Stardew Valley-esque community building game crossed with a Legend of Zelda-styled action game. During this demo, we get to see a few characters, get some backstory on the world, which is dealing with some sort of rot, and do one of, I assume, the earliest dungeons. The puzzles are very basic in the dungeon, they're sliding block puzzles, and that was it. The combat is pretty simplistic with a stamina meter, a dodge roll, and different tools, and the one boss fight was actually more of a puzzle and was pretty interesting, but easy at the end of the day. I love the visuals how we're presented here, and the music is fantastically nice and soothing. This is definitely one that I'm going to be picking up once it fully releases, as I'm very curious about the town rebuilding aspects, coupled with the Zelda-esque exploration and overworld. Do you enjoy roguelikes with a sense of humor? Then you will most likely enjoy Going Under. This one is a Binding of Isaac-styled roguelike, and you play as an intern at a company that makes some sort of fizzy water that is also a meal replacement. Topical! And you are going to be going down through the basement dungeon, clearing it out, because of course there's a basement dungeon in this fantastic company. Your weapons will be a mix of things like keyboards, the aforementioned fizzy drinks, swords, and boxes, among other things. You basically just pick up things that are on the floor and hit the enemies with them. Combat is very straightforward. You just have a dodge button, you have an attack button, and then you can pick up apps, which are then used as sort of special weapons. I got different apps that were things like throwing fizzy grenades, I could call in a supply drop, and at one point I even got one that summoned a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man as a distraction. The art is very cute as well, and the music is very solid, and there was some voice acting at the beginning that was good as well that set up the entire thing. I like it, but I'm going to need to see more down the road before I personally decide if I'm going to pick it up or not. So this is going to be a bit of an odd duck in the mix of games I tried. 100 Days is a sort of wine simulator decision-making game. In this one, you're tasked with running a winery. I personally know nothing about wine, I don't know what tannins are, or what body is, or any of that jazz, so the topic here is completely over my head. The game seems to be a mix of puzzle game and decision-making and business management. You have this board where you place your tasks, such as harvesting, or refining, or pressing, and they are shaped very much like Tetris pieces. You only have so much space on your board for the harvesting, aging, pressing, and so on, and you want to maximize your available space with the tasks that you have. The tasks will show up in your hand like cards. It's very relaxing, and I'm sure with a bit more polish, it'll definitely appeal to people who want a chill, relaxing sim game with a dash of puzzles. I say puzzle only in the sense of placing pieces, as their shapes will restrict what you can and cannot do at a given moment. Beyond that, though, it's very much a simulation game, all about making that sweet cash off of them wines. I love the art style, though, and the music is super relaxing. This is one to keep an eye on if you're into this sort of thing. This game is vastly different from the last one in this video, and it's a little hilarious. Rising Hell is actually available right now on Steam in early access for only $10, and there's a good chance I'm going to pick it up and cover it in a normal video down the road because, well, it's my jam. In this, you are playing someone who is attempting to escape from hell. You're armed with a badass claw gauntlet, although apparently there are unlockable characters in the full version, and you jump and strike your way upwards, killing enemies in brutal fashion, racking up a high score, all to an amazingly badass heavy metal styled soundtrack. If Doom was a 2D action platformer, it would be Rising Hell. The bosses I ran into were interesting as well, and the way upgrades were handled was simple but cool within the game, and the visual style is a treat. Also, apparently the full version has account level upgrades, which I adore in this sort of game. This is definitely one to take a look at if you like things like Dead Cells or Hades, but you want something a bit more heavy metal. I had been interested in Spiritfarer when I first saw it during the Xbox Game Pass for PC announcements, and after playing this demo, I am still very much, if not more, interested in it now than I was before. The animations and style of this game are top-notch, and I love the feel of it. As far as I can tell, you play Stella, a young person who is tasked with leading spirits to the great beyond. You have a sweet houseboat that you can upgrade, you can fish, you can plant, you can cook, and you do tasks for the various characters on your boat in an effort to help them move on. The characters all have such great personality, even from the limited demo, and Stella's idle animations alone show off their personality. Also, there seemed to be some sort of Metroidvania aspects to it. As part of the demo, I unlocked a double jump, so I'm not exactly sure what you can do as you wander the oceans. Also, the ending of this demo was wild, and the thing I saw at the end made me go, whack. Definitely keep an eye out on this one. I think it's going to be something special. And now for the final game in this video. I started with a Dark Souls-esque game, and I'm ending with one. This is more of a 2D Dark Souls Metroidvania. Vigil the Longest Night follows a girl who is part of the Vigil. As far as I can tell, she just finished training when you start, and you are sent off to finish your trial. The visuals are a little odd for me. They feel almost like paper dolls in how they're animated. The music is killer, however, as is the backgrounds and anime designs. The combat has your stamina bar, some skill trees, your basic combos, you got health items, the works, all the stuff you expect in a Dark Souls-esque game, but the exploration being in 2D makes me feel more like I'm playing a Castlevania game, and I think that's what they were going for, to evoke Symphony of the Night and that sort of thing. Thankfully, this game does feature both an easy and hard difficulty selection, so that was nice. It's not my thing, but it's still very clearly a solidly made game from the feel of the demo, and if you're into this sort of thing, I urge you to check it out. It's not for me, but perhaps it'll be for you. And And there you have it. 7 different indie games that all look pretty solid. While there are the 2 that didn't personally interest me after I played their demos, those being Vigil and Eldest Souls, overall I was really pleased with the solid quality on display here from every game and developer. If any of these games interest you, please log into Steam and add those games to your wishlist. This will help the visibility of those games on Steam and on the storefront. I'm going to have links for every single one of these games in the description box here on YouTube to make it easier for you to find them. I personally cannot wait to get my hands on these games, each in turn down the road, and cover them, and I hope you feel the same way. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time, and remember everybody, stay nerdy. Hey there, I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and a special thank you to all my patrons who are listed over there on the right hand of the screen. If you want to get your name in those credits, feel free to check it out at patreon.com/terminallynerdy. And hey, be kind to each other and stay nerdy. Thanks.